Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to World of Tanks. This is going to be another World of Tanks Blitz review. I know I'm dumping a lot of Blitz things right now, but that's because, well, I've just found out that I can play Blitz on the PC. I mean, I had known, but I'd always thought that it had been pretty crap. But as it happens, this isn't too bad, I don't think. Oh, jeez, what's this? Destroy 7 enemy vehicles over a number of battles. Drive a vehicle of any tier. Camouflage becomes available for the vehicle that was used to complete the mission. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. But anyway, so this is going to be a review of Tankenstein. Now, if you don't know what Tankenstein is, I don't blame you, but what it is a special tank that they made to be completed by a series of missions over Halloween. Not last Halloween, but the Halloween before. I'm fairly certain. And what it was is under the missions tab you had Tankenstein, and you had to complete 7 different tiers, and each tier you had to get XP, and obviously the higher the tier, the higher the XP. However, you could also just use gold to unlock it, and so what I did is, I think I managed to complete 4 missions before running out of time, and I just used gold to get the rest of the tank, because you would unlock, because there were 7 tiers and I completed the first 4, and then I had to use gold to unlock the next tier and the next tier and the next tier, and then finally you needed gold to unlock the actual tank, or enough XP to actually unlock the tank once you've done all 7 of them. And so I did get this tank for gold, but I did get it cheaper. So what this is it is a tier 7 heavy of, well, it says it's German, but it could really be any. It could really be any nation, because it's basically a mix of German, Russian, and American engineering. As you can see, it's a Tiger P chassis, basically, along with a KV-4 sort of top turret with a small 45mm gun on top, plus something American. Not too sure what. I think it's an American gun, because as you can see, gun 105mm gun T5E1, or you've got the 130mm B13S2, aka the same gun as what's on the box tank, effectively. And that's the gun that I've gone with, but I will leave it up to you to decide when I go through it. But anyway, having a look here, first at the percentages, it's 52% protection, 36% firepower, 59% shot effectiveness. That would change if I had gone with the 105 instead of 130, but I just prefer the 130, I think. It would also increase my maneuverability, but with the 130 you get 36% firepower, 59% shot effectiveness, and 15% maneuverability. Obviously, with the 105 gun, you get 40% firepower, 64% shot effectiveness, and 16% maneuverability. So, as you can see, it's not very effective. Well, sorry, it's not really that maneuverable, because it's only 15%. But anyway, HP 1350, which is a lot for a tier 7. For a tier 7 heavy. Just to reference this and just show how little health the T34 Independence actually has, this is only 50 health less than the tier 8 heavy, the T34 Independence. So yeah, this tank 1400 HP, this tank 1350 HP. It's really not much in between them. But having a look at another tier, having a look at another tier 7 heavy, namely the Tiger P. What the Tiger P has is it has got 1350 HP with an upgraded turret. It has, let's see, 1450 HP. The Tiger 1, let's have a look there. With the upgraded turret, you have got 1450 HP. Let's have a look at American heavies, such as the T32. With the T32, with the upgraded turret, you have got 1550 HP, which is a lot. Tankenstein isn't looking that great on the HP pool now. Let's have a look at the IS. The IS with the upgraded turret. You have got 1230. Oh, that's not much, to be honest. KV-13. Let's have a look with the upgraded turret. You have got 1200. That's even worse. Let's have a look at Britain. Does Britain have heavy tanks? Yeah, they do still have heavy tanks, such as the Black Prince. So, Black Prince only gets one turret, and that turret gives it 1450 HP. So, yeah, Tankenstein is on the lower end of the HP. Not as bad as the Russian heavies at tier 7, however, it's worse than the German heavies, worse than the American heavy. The Japanese don't have heavies, thank God. And the British, obviously, Black Prince, yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't have that much HP compared to other tier 7 heavies, but, yeah. Make of that what you will. As for the armour, the front hull armour is actually pretty decent. 200mm at the front, 80 at the sides and rear. Turret 150, 120, and then 80 at the rear. So at the front, 120 hull armour is pretty much just that front plate and that upper glacis. Lower glacis is going to be much thinner, and these side bits, you can just smack a shot straight through them. Though I think those actually count as side armour. So those are actually only 80mm. I'm fairly certain, because things go through that when they wouldn't go through this. So frontal hull, yeah, you do have 200mm of frontal hull, but that's really only this front plate, as you can see. But these bits, yeah, things go straight through, because that's only 80 and 80. 150 frontal turret, which is not really that much. Suppose at medium to long range distances, that would be enough, I think. But yeah, 120 at the side and then 80 at the rear really isn't that much. And well, Tankenstein does have this top turret, and the top turret is bound to be a weakness, because it's basically a KV-4 turret with because it has that mini top turret. Having a look here, maneuverability weighs 70 tons with a 550 horsepower engine, meaning that it only goes 35 kilometers per hour with an 18 degrees per second traverse speed and an even worse 16 degrees turret traverse. It's comparable to the T-34 again, because, well, that's just appallingly bad, and the top speed, it's not really that great. It does weigh 70 tons. Let's leave the gun for now and move on to the engine. 550 horsepower, 20% chance of fire and impact, 670 kilograms. Yeah, the turret view range 230 meters, weighs 15,000 kilograms. That's alright view range, I suppose. That's decent enough. As you can see, radio range doesn't matter, and there are no radios in World of Tanks Blitz. The suspension, even though this Tankenstein does weigh 70 tons, the suspension has got a load limit of 95 tons, which means that no matter how many heavy modules you fit on here, it's still not really going to matter, because you have 25 extra tons to play around with on this thing. That's a lot. 18 degrees per second traverse speed. They weigh 18,000 kilograms, but it is the suspension. What do you expect? Now for the gun. I have gone with the 130mm B13S2, which has got 196mm of penetration with AP. With other AP, it has 171, which is not that great. It's actually worse with premium ammo. With high explosive, 65mm, but that's high explosive. It's going to do nothing up tier 7. Average damage 460, average damage with the 130, 530 with the other AP, but then that does only have 171 penetration. 600 with high explosive, but then high explosive you're never going to get that much at tier 6, at tier 7, unless you hit some poorly armoured scout or something. It's very inaccurate and has a long aim time. It's 0.45 dispersion with 0.29 aim time, and it weighs 5,290 kilograms. But I've gone with this because, I don't know, I just couldn't get to grips with this thing. Because the 130mm only has 2 less penetration with AP. yeah, the 105 only gets 2 extra millimeters of penetration. However, the 130 only has 3 rounds per minute, which isn't that good at all. That's terrible. Terrible rate of fire. It's very slow. 105 slightly better, 4.88. 2 more penetration for 198 millimeters. With APCR, it gets 245 at average pen, and with high explosive, it gets 53 millimeters of penetration, which isn't that much. With average damage with AP is only 310. With APCR is again 310. With HE only 400, but then it's HE. You're not going to penetrate anything with 53 millimeters of penetration. Dispersion is slightly better, 0.42. Aim time is slightly better, 2.5 seconds, and it weighs less than, more than half less than the 130. But yet, I prefer the 130 because looking at it, it is better at aiming by almost half a second, but it's really not that better accuracy compared to the 130. Sure, it does weigh less and has a better rate of fire, and it has 2 extra millimeters of penetration, but it does have a lot less alpha, and I just prefer the 130. It's statistically a worse gun, but I still prefer the 130. Then again, it's up to you. You may prefer the 105 over 130. Don't know why I'm actually saying which. Just go with what you prefer, because I doubt anyone really has this tank. I doubt you can even get it anymore. But yeah, it's a very interesting looking tank if we just look at it. These are the exhausts, as you can see, and actually when you're in battle and you actually move the tank, this sprays fire out of them, so it's basically fire out the end instead of, you know, the regular smoke from something like the Panzer B2. It's actually fire, which is a very nice effect, and has got this sort of funny Maxim machine gun, or Vickers machine gun, sticking out the side of the turret there just randomly. It's got this massive tube here, which I have no idea what it's for. It's a very sort of steampunky looking tank with loads of spikes everywhere, and you can also see why it's called Tankenstein, because it's basically patched up. As you can see, different colour pieces of armour, various industrial grade staples, military grade staples, sort of holding it all together. It also has this sort of weird wheel guard, like the Tiger P. Oh, well, I think actually more the Panzer 1 has got that, but it does have a sickle here, it looks like, and it also has a scythe, in case, you know, you want to do a spot of light farming on your way to the battle. It does also have a pumpkin here to show that it's a Halloween tank. It also has, you know, the various things for getting it out of, when it's stuck, getting it out of holes, such as, you know, a spade, a hatchet, and a shovel. It's got various spikes on the front. The spikes at the front, actually, as you can see on the front upper plate and the front sloping glacis, do give off a cool effect, and I do like that. And as you can see, it is basically the box tank gun mantlet here, as you can see. It's got that curved piece of metal there, and it's basically the box tank gun mantlet stuck onto a KV-5 turret. But, yeah. Anyway, moving back to the guns, just finishing up on the guns. Choose what you want. I've gone with the 130. I'll also try a game with the 105, and maybe I'll prefer it because I'm playing on PC and not on mobile. You never know. Just a quickly look at the ammunition. It only holds 30 rounds of 130mm ammo, but as for the equipment that you want to fit, you'll definitely want a large caliber tank gun rammer and an enhanced gun lane drive. No matter which gun you choose, you'll still want both of these, because 0.42 or 0.45 accuracy just isn't that good enough. You will need an enhanced gun lane drive, because they both have terrible aim times as well. And, well, if you're using the 130, you'll definitely want the gun rammer, and if you're using the 105, then there's no harm in increasing your rate of fire with that. So I've also gone with improved vents to get that aim time and reload time down even further, and also help with my maneuverability. In case you keep getting set on fire or your ammo rack keeps getting damaged, then you can go with the wet ammo rack. But then that's up to you. The enhanced suspension for better suspension durability. If you don't want to get detract, then sure you could go with that, because the traverse speed and the turret traverse speed just isn't that good to keep up with anyone really that are circle strafing you. As for the camonet, I would say probably no. You don't really want to stop anywhere in this tank. Same with the binos. Coated optics, not a bad idea. Coated optics are always useful. Heavy spawn liner, nobody's really going to be firing high explosive at you at tier 7, because bear in mind that there is no artillery in Blitz, so heavy spawn liner, I would say probably not. But toolkit, yeah, it's up to you. I always like toolkit, always a useful piece of equipment to fit on whatever you want, but heavy spawn liner, I'd probably say no. These things are much more beneficial to you. I think definitely these three are the best equipment layout for you, but it depends. It's up to you. You've got your standard fuel or your improved fuel for plus 10 to engine power and turret, or plus 3 to both of them. Up to you. Then you've got a chocolate bar, or you have got just chocolate to give plus 10 or plus 3 to crew mastery. Yeah, once again. Up to you, depending on which amount of credits you want to spend. And then of course your protective kit for plus 15% protection to crew from injuries, plus 10 to speed of modules, 20% to fly protection, and plus 10 to ammo rack. Fuel tank durability, but then that's if you want to equip provisions. I don't really want to equip provisions, so I haven't fitted any, but then again, provisions, if you really want to, then sure, go for it. As for your consumables, well, I've gone with the standard. Fire extinguisher, repair kit, and first aid kit. You could go with the multi-pack restoration, the multi-purpose restoration pack even, but I prefer having each three individually. But if you really want to use adrenaline for plus 2 to low speed and plus 10 to chance of damaging enemy vehicle modules, then you may want to go with one of them, but I just prefer having these things up here. Adrenaline for, lasts for 15 seconds, cooldown is 75 seconds. All of these things have got multiple uses during a battle, which is very useful. Something that I would probably like to see on World of Tanks PC. But if you really want to use adrenaline, which would probably not be a bad idea, definitely for that load speed, I think would definitely be useful on this tank. But yeah, if you really want to use adrenaline, then go with that. But unless you don't want to use adrenaline or engine power boost to give plus 20 to engine power for, again, 15 seconds with a 75-second cooldown, then yeah, you could go with that. But I just prefer having these three just as there. So yeah, that's Tankenstein. You don't get to put any special camouflage on it because, well, why would you want to on this tank? I mean, you would probably, it just wouldn't work. But yeah. Overall, I think it's a alright tier 7 heavy. I wouldn't say it's the best tier 7 heavy, but yeah, I think it's alright. It's alright. The 130mm really is a just nice gun. You can just get a solid. If you penetrate and you do solid damage, oh, it's really nice. But either way, if you prefer reload over alpha, then go with the 105, but I've gone with the 130. So yeah, that was Tankenstein. The reason I haven't gone over the skills is because Blitz does things differently. I can't really go over skills for you because they're all basically different. But yeah, they're all skills work funny in World of Tanks Blitz, so I'm just gonna skip crew skills. But yeah, so that was Tankenstein. I will thank you for watching, and goodbye.